I'm not sure if bow ties actually add structural strength, but they sure do look good. So in this video, I'll walk you through a quick how-to on inlaying bow ties. This hairline crack has been catching my attention for a while now. I knew it wasn't deep enough to be a real concern, but my OCD wouldn't let me ignore it any longer. My first thought was to cut it out completely, but that felt a bit extreme. Instead, I decided to go with bow ties. For those interested in trying this out, I'll be including a handy chart in the video description. It'll help you pair the right bit and bushing for your bow tie and its corresponding negative. I chose maple for the bow ties, partly because I had some lying around, and partly because the contrast looks delicious. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to bow ties. I've probably done about 8 in my entire woodworking journey. But here's what I do know. Bow ties should always be inlaid perpendicular to the grain of the cracked material, and the grain of the bow tie itself should also run perpendicular to the crack. Why? Because this takes advantage of wood movement to strengthen the joint. As the surrounding wood moves, it presses against the bow tie rather than pulling away from it, reinforcing the connection. For this project, I'm using a 1/8 inch bit to route out the bow tie and its negative, going about 3/4 of an inch deep in 2 or 3 passes. To remove excess material, I switched to a 1/4 inch bit because putting too much stress on the 1/8 inch bit can lead to problems. I also swap out the bushings for each negative to keep the template in place. I don't trust myself to freehand it. I picked up this bow tie template on Amazon for about 20 bucks. And no matter which template you use, the process will leave you with rounded corners on the negative and sharp corners on the bow tie itself. That's just how it works when using a router. The bit leaves a rounded profile inside the template. At this point, you have two choices. Either round the corners on your bow tie or chisel out the corners of the negative. I prefer rounding the bow tie corners mostly because my chiseling skills are questionable, and I don't have a solid set of sharp chisels yet. One day, though, because I do love the crisp, clean look of sharp bow ties. To help the bow tie slide in easily, I shave off a bit of the material from the inner edge of the bow tie. You can see me removing the bow ties using the table saw. I learned the hard way that this isn't the best approach. There's a chance the bow tie can come loose midway, which is definitely not what you want. I'll show you why at the end of this video. Instead, I now use my bandsaw to safely separate the bow ties from the material. Once everything is cut, I apply glue to both surfaces and gently tap the bow tie in place. To make sure all the edges are tight, I mix sawdust with glue and rub it into any gaps. Then I let it dry, sand everything smooth, and apply the finish. And that's it. Simple, satisfying, and a great way to add a little extra flair to your project. And feel free to correct me where I'm wrong by dropping me a comment, and please share with your friends and family. I'm just a small YouTube channel trying to grow, so if you find my content interesting, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed and liked the video. I hope this video helps you with your next project.